Now at 10, the latest on a fatal boating accident at Table Rock Lake. Plus, what Ozarks Blood Center is doing to get more blood donors following a critical blood shortage. And how some Missouri Southern student athletes are earning extra money.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A 15-year-old girl from O'Fallon, Missouri is dead following a boating accident at Table Rock Lake. This is KOAM News at 10. She died after she was hit by a boat while she was swimming. Madison Horner has details on what happened and reaction from a witness.
Al Pulis lives across the lake from Breezy Point and witnessed Water Patrol and other agencies responding to the crash.
After a while, I noticed what appeared to be an even larger boat with the flashing red and blue lights, and I told my wife that I'm afraid something tragic has happened for them to be there that long.
Pulis says he expresses his heartfelt sorrow for everyone involved.
I cannot imagine how they are feeling, but we want them to know that we care and we're sorry.
Other swimmers who frequent Breezy Point say there should be additional safety measures in place to prevent incidents like this from happening.
You get accidents like this because we haven't put up the buoys, we haven't put up the barriers. I'm not saying shut them down because people are going to go either way, but it all comes down to making those areas safer for people that are there.
A 16-year-old boy from Baldwin was also treated for minor injuries. The 62-year-old driver of the boat from O'Fallon wasn't hurt.
It is unclear right now what caused the boat to accelerate into the swimming area and then ultimately into the rock bluff.
Trooper Samuel Carpenter says the driver of the boat performed a field sobriety test and provided a breath sample, which is done anytime there's a crash.
The subject was found to be under the legal limit that the state allows, and it was therefore released at the scene.
Carpenter says it's tragic anytime there's any sort of crash on our roadways or water, and things can happen quickly on the water.
The wave action, the heat of the day, it all affects you. It all can affect your reaction time. But obviously, when there's swimmers in the water, you need to be extra cautious.
The Highway Patrol has not said whether the driver of the boat had any connection to either of the victims. The hot weather has returned. Let's check in with Nick Kelly.
Yeah, we're hoping for any bit of relief as we go into the extended forecast now. But before we see where we're going, it looks nice from south of the range line right now, but the numbers today may not look nice if you are not a fan of the July heat. We started nice at 71 this morning, but then topped out at 100 degrees this afternoon with plenty of sunshine to go along with it. But we're seeing some subtle changes start to roll on in. Not only do we have a cold front at the surface coming in, but upper level energy will come on in overnight. That will work with elevated instability upstairs. And what is that going to do? It's going to bring some rain chances our way, at least for some of you at the very least. Right now, though, we're all dry, but we're all warm with everybody still in the 80s. Feels like the mid 80s to about the lower 90s in many spots, but that front behind it overnight could spark some widely scattered storms, mainly for the northern parts of the viewing area, so that's something we'll watch in the morning. Otherwise, lows near 73. Then drier air behind the front dow will give us a bit of a break from the heat tomorrow with highs near 89. We'll see if these numbers hold for the rest of the week, though, here in a few.
See you then. Now is your chance to save someone's life. The Community Blood Center of the Ozarks in Joplin's North Park Mall is in desperate need of donations, so they hosted a blood drive. To bring in more donors, the center offered free t-shirts and baseball tickets for the Springfield Cardinals. Some people donate blood as a way to give back to the community.
Well, I'd just like to help out. I know I've been getting some calls and things that they need the type O negative blood, so I've been seeing that and I thought I'd come give blood.
According to GivingBlood.org, about 4.5 million Americans need a blood transfusion each year. Area low-income families could be getting some help on utility bills this summer. The Economic Security Corporation of the Southwest area is partnering with Community Action to help families pay for their utilities. Coordinator Robin Walker says the program helps prevent the termination of utility services and also helps pay current balances.
And if they need help with their current bill, because a lot of our elderly families don't want to get a shutoff notice, they just need to call us and let us know. Or if they don't, if they just send in their bill, their current bill, and put on it, right at the top of it that they can't pay it, then we can help with that if they've already filled out an application and been approved.
Walker says she loves this program because it can help keep the lights on for a lot of families around Joplin. The Missouri Department of Transportation will soon start a $27 million project to improve 7th Street in Joplin, but there's one more step before that happens. The project will focus on the pavement and improving traffic flow. But first, a consultant team will survey the street to make sure no historic structures will be affected by the construction.
Right now, at the details of how we're actually going to construct it, but I want everybody to rest assured that all access to businesses and residences will remain open. During that, we're probably going to go down to one lane in each direction.
The project is expected to be completed in 2024. Missouri Southern student athletes have a new way to make some money. As of 2021, NCAA student athletes are able to profit off of their name, image, and likeness, NIL they call it. MSSU has now launched an app to help give student athletes an efficient and safe way to have opportunities at NIL deals. Missouri Southern is one of the first schools in Division II athletics to launch an NIL app.
They're great people. We think that they're going to give our student athletes the opportunity, and they're not just going to be on their own going through these processes. It's something that we felt was a need to give our student athletes the education and also give them the platform to be able to facilitate these. And the biggest thing is transparency, is making sure that everything is disclosed both through the NCAA and also through the state legislature.
Other universities using the app include Washington State University, Georgia Tech, and University of Central Florida. Pitt State gives some area kids a chance to gain some new skills. The university is hosting 2 week-long workshops, one focusing on robotics and one focusing on construction. Officials say the workshops allow kids to try some things they haven't before.
Get hands-on. To understand that tools can do lots of things, their brains can do lots of things. They can think up stuff, but if they can't build it, kind of like the old days where we used to just make up stuff in the backyard.
Pitt State has been hosting the workshops for 15 years. Coming up, details about a clothing assistance program offered by Cherokee Nation, plus the latest from the January 6th committee and the relationship former President Trump and his advisors might have had with extremist groups. Cherokee Nation today announced it's further expanded its clothing assistance program. Now, last week the tribe announced a clothing assistance program that provides funds to Cherokee citizens from birth to 18 years old. Today, they've now expanded it to include college or career tech students up to 22 years in age. Cherokee Nation is accepting applications for the clothing assistance, school clothing assistance program until July 29th at 5 p.m. A federal appeals court has issued a judgment concerning abortions based solely on a prenatal Down syndrome diagnosis. Those abortions can now be banned. The Missouri Attorney General Schmidt celebrated the ruling, saying in part, quote, "A prenatal Down syndrome diagnosis should not be a death sentence, and because of our efforts, it no longer is," end quote. Eric Schmidt. A federal judge dismissed a lawsuit by Missouri Attorney General that blamed China for the coronavirus pandemic. The judge says federal rules prohibit a sovereign foreign entity from being sued in American courts. The AG's office said it would appeal the ruling. The complaint, filed in April of 2020, alleges that Chinese officials are responsible for the enormous death, suffering, and economic losses they inflicted on the world, including on Missourians. China criticized the lawsuit as very absurd and said it has no factual and legal basis. Kansas Attorney General today announced that a new module has been developed to train law enforcement. The training is designed to investigate missing and murdered indigenous persons in the state of Kansas. Schmidt, the AG, said the office sought the assistance and input from officials from the 4 federally recognized Native American tribes in Kansas, as well as the Native American members of the legislature who sponsored that bill. A source familiar with the January 6th hearings tells CBS News that tomorrow 2 men involved in far-right extremist groups will testify. Former Oath Keeper spokesman Jason Van Tatenhove and Stephen Ayers. The committee is expected to detail former President Trump and his advisors' relationship with extremist groups. Reporter Natalie Brand is in Washington with details.
The The mob that stormed the Capitol on January 6th included members of far-right extremist groups, including the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers. On Tuesday, the House Select Committee will focus on the role of those groups and will try to show how former President Trump's actions helped mobilize them leading up to that day.
We learned that they came with explosives, they came armed.
Florida Democrat Stephanie Murphy will lead some of the questioning during the hearing. She says a December tweet from Mr. Trump initially spurred his supporters. Big protest in D.C. on January 6th. Be there will be wild.
The president's tweet in the wee hours of December 19th activated the groups and how the members of Congress amplified that tweet.
The committee is also expected to show excerpts of their Friday interview with former White House counsel Pat Cipollone.
He was aware of every major move I think that Donald Trump was making to try to overthrow the 2020 election.
And after snubbing the committee for months, former White House advisor Steve Bannon says he's now willing to testify and prefers to do so publicly. Investigators want to know why Bannon made this prediction just one day before January 6th.
All hell is going to break loose.
Bannon is facing contempt of Congress charges for stonewalling the committee and is expected to face trial next week. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
The Justice Department wrote in a court filing that Bannon's offer to speak is not genuine, but rather an attempt to avoid accountability in his trial. They say Bannon has still not produced the documents subpoenaed by the January 6th committee. Blood cancer patients have a reduced response to the COVID-19 vaccine. A study published by Wiley found less than half of people with leukemia, lymphoma, and multiple myeloma had detectable COVID antibodies after taking the vaccine. However, after a booster shot, the amount of protection rose significantly. A little bit later, a Carthage football standout makes a big announcement. Danny Terzer is going to have those details.
But first, the details I have will include some rain chances overnight, and if we can get a break from the heat anytime soon. Forecast next. I did not want to see temperatures really rise back up there for today to get this new work week started, but after we had highs in the upper 80s on Saturday, we had to go back into the lower to almost mid-90s on Sunday and pushing 100 degrees again for today, even though we had quiet skies. But on the plus side, though, we didn't see a lot of humidity to start the day out. That's why we allowed lows to drop back at least into the lower 70s, so at least it felt good to start the day out. But now we're focused on our next front coming on in. It's not really evident upon first impressions on the Skywatch Storm Tracker radar network, but you could tell earlier in the day as the front was working on in, it brought in some cloud cover that might have decayed temporarily, but the front itself working through the heart of the region now, and we've got upper level energy coming in upstairs that will try to spawn some widely scattered showers and storms, but not until we get past 2 in the morning. So we're still dry for a few more hours before some of you hopefully can catch in on some much needed rain chances. For now, though, looking quiet from Indigo Sky outside of Seneca, Missouri, and from 7th and Rangeline, but it is still too warm outside and humid as well. It's 89 in Joplin with the calm breeze. Dew point still sitting at 70. No wonder it feels like 94 degrees at the airport and even downtown, with downtown Joplin at 89 still. But everybody for the most part is still in the 80s. It feels like the 90s still in some spots with that humidity up there. But again, we're going to see if we can catch a little bit of a break in that heat and humidity tomorrow, because again, we've got a cold front coming on in. We weren't worried about anything firing up ahead of the front throughout the course of the day and the evening. But behind the front, again, here's our upper level setup. This upper level wave in the northern Great Lakes, it's going to bring some energy along the northwest flow. That's going to allow some widely scattered storms to try and develop. Here's how we proceed through the rest of the night. We're quiet now, but by 2 a.m. we notice more cloud cover building as that energy upstairs comes on in. And then a decent shot for some scattered thunderstorms, mainly for the northern half of the viewing area. Still a bit scattered, but if we do cash in on these thunderstorm chances, I don't think they'll get too rambunctious. Maybe the strongest with some moderate to heavy pockets of rain, maybe some minor wind gusts and very small hail. And eventually they'll fizzle out once we get past the morning and will stay underneath partly sunny skies throughout the course of the afternoon. Not only that, behind the front, a little bit drier and a little bit cooler. 73 in the morning, 83 by noon. We'll take afternoon highs around 89 with that little drop in humidity as well. Then we'll focus on mostly clear skies and lows in the mid to upper 60s to start Wednesday morning out. Then unfortunately we head right back into the lower 90s with quiet skies for Wednesday. The upper level ridge really wants to build in as we head toward the start of the weekend with highs in the upper 90s. But I want to watch for another system by the weekend that could give us some thunderstorms on Saturday and maybe another slight chance for some rain on Sunday. If that front can still come in as advertised with enough moisture to work with and before it can fall apart, that could drop highs into the mid-90s for Sunday and Monday. But we'll take highs near 89 for tomorrow, Dow, before we go back to 93 on Wednesday and then mid to upper 90s to get the upcoming weekend underway.
Those lawns, those gardens, those farm fields need a break. They need some rain.
Yeah, hopefully some of us can cash in on those rain chances overnight. We'll keep an eye on it for sure.
Thanks, Nick. Hey, when severe weather strikes, you're going to want to stay informed for sure, and you can do that by scanning this QR code. It'll take you to the KOAM News Now YouTube page where our weather team will live stream during severe weather events to give you updated information. And while you're there, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. Danny joins us now. Carthage standout Luke Gall makes a great big announcement.
Yeah, he announces his commitment to a Division I football program, so we'll hear from him next. And it's Webb City and Joplin National in the District 2 Tournament Championship. Those highlights coming up. Carthage football standout Luke Gall made a big announcement this weekend. Gall has committed to Air Force Academy to continue his football career. Gall enters his senior season for the Carthage Tigers. Last year, he was named Missouri Class 5 Offensive Player of the Year. He also earned COC Offensive and Defensive Player of the Year recognition as a running back and linebacker. The list of his accomplishments goes on and on. He rushed for 1,900 yards and finished the season with 29 touchdowns. Here he is on his goals at the college level.
Brad Roberts, who is their running back now, was all conference. So that would be great if I could be all conference, become All-American. They've had great running backs, great rushing teams. So if I could just follow in their footsteps, that would be great. It's weight off your shoulders, like I was saying. Recruiting, there's a lot of stress that goes into it, and there was a lot of hard work that went into it, and I'm just glad it paid off. And there's a weight off my shoulders, and I can focus on my senior season now.
The Missouri Little League District 2 Tournament Championship is today, and 2 local teams have made it to the title game. Joplin National and Webb City square off this evening in the championship. First inning is a big one for Webb. Jackson Kent smacks it into the grass in right. 3 runners score off the double. Next inning, Andrew Baird hits it high and deep down the left field line, and that's a triple. Then Kent shoots it back up the middle to bring Baird home. 6-0 Webb City, and they keep pouring it on. Bryce Stevens gets it by the infield. A few more score. Webb City rolls by Joplin National 15-0 to win the district tournament, and now they head to state. Kansas City hosts division opponent Detroit today for doubleheader action. The Royals are a few games back from the Tigers in the Central Division, aiming to make up some ground today. Brad Keller locked in on the mound today. He gives up just 1 run in 7 innings with 8 strikeouts. It's scoreless in the 4th. Vinny Pasquantino goes deep for a solo shot. It's his 2nd home run of the year. And Pasquantino doing it all today. In the 6th, he hits an RBI single that puts the Royals back on top. He goes 2 for 4 with 2 runs and 2 RBI. Then bases loaded for Kansas City. Cam Gallagher hits a grounder to short. Bad throw to first, and the Royals bring in another. Kansas City wins game 1 3-1. Game 2, the Royals win it again 7-3. Bobby Witt Jr. goes 4 for 5 with 3 RBI. Ryan O'Hearn drives in 2. The Cardinals finish up a 4-game set with the Phillies today. Philly won the first 2 games, and then the Cards came back to win Game 3 on Sunday. Series finale, St. Louis wins it 6-1. Corey Dickerson drives in 3 runs, including a 2-run homer. That's a look at sports. We're back after this.
Take time now to honor a local veteran. John Frohman served in the U.S. Air Force from 1942 to 1945 during World War II. His hometown, Miami, Oklahoma, and we are proud to salute Sergeant John Frohman, a four-state hero. You can learn about lots of other heroes. We have thousands of them in our database. You can look them up by hometown or by name. And we're always looking for more to honor. If you'd like to nominate a hero, just go to our website anytime. Click on the link. It's KOAMnewsnow.com. Getting some ink to show your love for an iconic ice cream cone might get you a sweet reward. National Ice Cream Day and National Tattoo Day are the same day. It's July 17th. And to celebrate, ice cream brand Drumstick is giving away a year's supply of sundae cones to 5 lucky winners. All you have to do is get a drumstick tattoo. Hey, but you know what? It doesn't have to be a real one. It can be temporary. It can even be drawn on with a Sharpie. You'll need to snap a photo of your drumstick tattoo, share it on social media using the hashtag DrumstickInc. The company says it'll be accepting participants until July 31st.
I don't know, I got a little bit of a sweet tooth tonight. Maybe a drumstick doesn't sound like a bad idea.
And then you can wash it off. Yeah, it can be temporary. The weather is going to be ice cream weather for a while. Huh?
Yeah, certainly will. Even with a little bit of a cool down tomorrow, after we get past some thunderstorm chances tomorrow morning. Highs are 89. Then we're back in the mid 90s Wednesday, Thursday, upper 90s Friday and Saturday.
Final sports note.
Yeah, one last note on Luke Gall. He had 7 collegiate offers. 6 of those were Division I schools.
Wow. And his local fans would have been following him no matter where he had gone, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for joining us. Morning show starts at 5 a.m. Let's make it a great tomorrow.